Have you ever traveled through time? We do it every day.
Asgardia is a country with a population of more than 1 million people from more than 200 countries on Earth. Asgardia gives everyone equal opportunities, no matter what their earthly status is.
It is possible to create and live in the future right now. Are you ready? Forward progress is the solution to the entire human race. Our mission is to bridge new horizons. In Asgardia, there is no limit to the universal development in the fields of technology, finance, and arts. Asgardia is a new space and digital economy which creates opportunities for the global economy. We deliver innovations. Do you want to get on board with us? We are developing various kinds of digital businesses, attracting them to the Asgardia platform that can be backed by the means of our umbrella, i.e. franchising of the Asgardia brand. We can not only attract investments into space programs from prominent institutional investors, but also affordable amounts from the citizens of Asgardia. We comprise of more than 1 million people.
Asgardia is a chance to realize one's dream. This is a dream-driven space nation. Asgardia is a chance to belong to a community of free-thinking enthusiasts, goal-driven dreamers, and fearless innovators, theorists, and scientists.
We are the first space nation. One humanity, one unity.
Asgardia.
We are creating
The future.
Charlotte as well.
Look so happy.
So happy and lovely. Now, come on, let's get this right.
Yes, kisses to her.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Kobe.
How are you?
Very fine.
I like the shirt, Limbit.
Welcome. Well, this is what I'm going to start with. Well, welcome around the world to our meeting. This is Asgardia's Parliament on our weekly question and answer, but it's really a debate, an unofficial weekly catch-up that we do, and to make sure that I get feedback from everybody and I report the day 5 things that are important. We also hear from our deputy Parliament, and the meetings usually between 20 and 60 minutes, depending on what's happening. This will be a bit shorter than usual because we have an Asgardia legislative forum this weekend, and so we normally try to keep the meeting just before then a bit short. Now, first of all, about the tie. I have been wondering if I should wear a tie or not. Oh, hang on. A tie or not. It's up to you. By the way, I'm also in transit. And so if I lose the signal, then I'll be right very shortly, but Peter will take over. I don't know if I should wear a tie or not. Ferda has just shaken her head. This is the first big question. Now, I know in the Middle East, a tie is not a good thing. And in the UK, a tie is a kind of old-fashioned thing. So that's something I want to discuss. Ferda, why were you shaking your head?
I don't want you to wear a tie. We are not that official.
So I shouldn't wear a tie. All right, but Peter's wearing a tie. Look at him. Okay, well, one vote in, this is Ferda. I used to broadcast with a tie on, but basically I don't have to broadcast and I don't have to do this with a tie. I'm not a very formal person. I was just told that the tie is actually an insult in some cultures. So I'm in your hands really on this one. If you have strong views, do let me know. I shall try without a tie. And probably at the fall events, I'll always wear a tie for the, it's only a small thing. And if you're watching around the world, you might have an opinion as well. Feel free to get in touch with Asgardia. But probably for these weekly sessions, that's a bit less formal. It's an expensive shirt though, Feda. Very expensive shirt. More expensive than Peter's. My shirt is worth more than Peter's tie and shirt.
No, we don't know that. Don't know that.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so thanks. No offense, Peter's a lawyer. He can afford much more expensive clothes than me. I got 5 areas, but I just want to cover one of them, and then I'll Peter. The first big one is about the Legislative Forum, which is this week on Saturday. Been a bit late for the agenda. It'll be 1300 to 1700, 1300 to 1700 on Saturday, which is 2 days away. And the intention is to go through the next digital sitting. So all the we're covering there with some of the points as well. I think the meeting will be probably 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer. Very happy to get feedback from you about anything else you want to put in the agenda. Please do tell me in this meeting. That's very important. I'll also say that I'm going to hand the meeting over to Peter in a few minutes because I do have to change trains. I've been at a cancer fundraising event today. It's not to do with Asgardia, but I'll probably go. And I'm just returning home now. It was a good event. It was something to do with the world, to do with Asgardia. So, Peter, whenever I have to get off the train in a few minutes' time, you take over, and then I'll rejoin you once I've changed trains.
Yep.
So cancer doesn't recognize borders, and it'll probably happen in space, at least as much as it happens on Earth. Now, with the ALF, I want us to now start giving, this is a new initiative. I would really invite you to start sharing areas that you want and that you can meaningfully contribute to in terms of talking with colleagues about. That means that if you've got something that you want to cover, just say, and I'll put it on the agenda. We need to have a quick chat. I'll make a judgment, but normally I'll just put it on. It won't be a problem. But it does mean now. So I'll put a note about this to everybody. I said that I'd have the agenda out by now. I ended up doing about 4 different phone calls to people about items in the run-up to this meeting. So apologies that I didn't get to put that out now, but I will put it out very shortly. So what matters to me is that we feel able to use the ALF for you and for the things that you want to discuss. As a result, I will give you till 1500 UTC tomorrow to put your items onto the agenda. And so if you've got something that you want to put in, that's GMT, 1500 GMT, then please send them to me and then I'll make sure that I put them into the agenda. Now, one other thing. 1 second then. I'm going to need to go. Peter, can you take over for a bit?
Yeah.
And do a report of your meeting? I have to change trains now. Now, I will be offline, but I'll join you again in about 7 or 8 minutes. But Peter, if you can take over.
Get off the train.
Okay, so don't tell me what to do. I'll be back.
All right. Oh, at last, everybody, we've got rid of the chair of Parliament. He'll be back and not too distant. So that's just let you know what happened in our meeting of the committee chairs a little bit earlier. We talked about the ALF for this weekend, and the agenda for the ALF will be out later this evening. So you will have that to have a look through. And then, as Lambert says, if you want to put anything else on there, just let him know by tomorrow, and that can be accommodated. We've been talking about at the chairs meeting the legislation which is being put forward by John Fiennes, by Sarah Clark, by Corner, although she wasn't at the meeting, and there are other bits, I think, of proposed legislation, but we'll go through those. You'll see them on the agenda, and we'll go through them at the ALF But now don't have to discuss ties anymore, because the most important person at this meeting is wearing a tie. And that would be me, wouldn't it? Yes, that's right. So now that we've lost Lembit, normally I don't wear a tie, and Lembit does. So it's a swap of roles, an exchange of roles. Now then, anybody want to raise anything while Lembit's not here, so he can't stop us from talking about it? I'm not quite sure what else is going to happen at the off, because of course I haven't seen the agenda yet either. But anyway, let's just see. Further, you want to say something?
Yes, also foreign affairs will be discussed for a last time with the last change. I will be reading the differences, and Fine will be backing me up. So it will be on the agenda as well. I just wanted to remind this.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you very much. Any other comments on that? I'm not sure. John Fines doesn't seem to be here. Must be making a sandwich, one of his favourite occupations.
I'm here, Peter.
There he is.
I am watching you.
Do you want to say a few words about your legislation? Just roughly, because obviously we're going to have the detail at the weekend.
Well, it's kind of early right now because like I said, I'm knee deep in drafting it, but it is a competitive competition act, or what is better known here in the United States as antitrust law. It's very detailed. It's going to be considerably longer than all the previous acts because it has such a large amount of information that has to be put into it, most of which is suggested by the United Nations with one of their model laws. So, and I feel fortunate to have all that information available to me. And so, like I said, I'm not sure when I'll have it finished, or when our committee will have it finished, but I suspect maybe sometime early next year.
Okay, but you're going to have enough to outline the basic principles for the weekend.
Well, no, this one here is not. That one's not going to be on the agenda. The one that's going to be on the agenda is the Consumer Protection Act.
All right. Okay.
And that one's already been outlined. It's going to be in there for the third reading.
Excellent. So, excellent. That's John.
That's more of a formality now, more than anything.
But you hope it is.
Oh yeah, I hope it is. By the third reading, usually we get through that pretty quick.
Yeah, well, let's just hope, because democracy is a bitch, and it can turn around and bite you on the behind. Yeah.
Well, only those guys that wear ties.
Oh, is that right? That explains. Right. I'll have to remember that. Anybody? I don't know. Is Sarah here? I didn't see her. No, don't think so. So I mean, we've got our legislation. We move forward, generating legislation relatively carefully. I mean, the Foreign Affairs Act taken forever because it's so important, and so it's had to be done very, very carefully. This could make or break Asgardia, further. This act, and it's not going to break it, but it could well make it. So it is very, very, very important. So we have to be so careful, and we will, and we have. I think it's been managed very well. But just having a look, see how many people we've got here. I don't think we're overburdened with folk tonight, but it doesn't matter, because we know we've got the ALF, and that takes all of our attention away. For the weekend, we'll be looking at the ALF, which of course is Saturday, and it's I don't know what time it is across the world, but it's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. when you're in God's country here in England. Not that I'm biased or anything. I was thinking about introducing something on Premier League football in the United Kingdom just to confuse the Americans who don't think we play football. But that got me when I was in America. I mean, I was there for 3 weeks and keep seeing on the TV things about football. And I'm thinking, well, that's not football. What are they doing? They've picked the ball up. You can't do that in football. So it's very confusing. And just to remind you, and this is a problem we face all the time here in Asgardia, because of the fact that that we are from so many different backgrounds, so many different languages, so many different cultures. You remember the quote from Mark Twain, the novelist, and he said that America and Britain were two countries divided by a single language, because their English and my English are not always the same. They are often very different. And of course, when I famously had my school year exchange student who was 17 from the States, and she wasn't very good at getting out of bed in the morning, and I had a conversation with her father when I told him that it was very difficult to get her started in the morning, and I had to knock her up every morning. And apparently that's rude in America, although it's perfectly fine in England because it just means I knocked on the door. But apparently it means something else. You'll have to explain to me later, John. But there we are. Anyway, Sarah is here now, aren't you, Sarah? Wherever you are. Do you want to say a word or two on your draft legislation?
Hello, still driving. No, just working with the initial piece of finance legislation that made it to its third reading, trying to get some input from not only like my minister, but Lembit and the other members of parliament who were there during the first reading, so that we can get it reworked and get it pushed through. So that is about it.
Wonderful. You're not very good as a filibuster, are you? Filling the time in.
No, I'm not. Apologies.
It's all right. It's okay. So from your professional point of view, what do you think about whether the chair and deputy chair of parliament should wear a tie? We've been having this debate.
So I'm with John. If you want to wear a tie, then you should wear a tie. But I've been thinking about what he said earlier, you know, that men who don't wear ties answer to no one. And I kind of like that. So I think, Mr. Deputy Chair, that you should do you. You should do what makes your heart happy. And if that is taking off that tie, then I salute you.
I'll think carefully about that. I actually use the tie as an adornment for my professional practice, because if I have a case where I'm interviewing a young child, where it's a difficult case particularly, I have a couple of Disney ties that I wear, and they direct the attention of the child away from the issues and onto the tie. And of course, we all use them as an official adornment. If I attend a funeral, I wear black tie.
Yes.
But
John, you're a barrister, right? You have a very, very handsome robe that you get to wear when you are in court. So, yeah, if it makes you happy, then I say go for it.
Well, if I robe up, I'm actually a solicitor, which is the other part of the profession. And I do have a gown, but if I wear my gown, I have to wear tabs, which are white.
Oh, that's right.
So you don't wear a tie at all.
My husband's a solicitor. I should have. I misspoke. I meant solicitor and not barrister.
Oh, well, there you are. No, you didn't.
Yes, you don't. You don't want the wig. No.
No, I don't. I'm not allowed to wear a wig. I could do with one, but I'm not allowed to wear one. So because I'm not a barrister, I'm a solicitor. And the difference, do you know that you will know the difference because the solicitor is the lawyer who does all the work, and the barrister is the lawyer who gets all the money for the work that's done.
Yes.
So there you are.
But solicitors are cooler. Well, I'll put it out there. Solicitors are cooler, so we'll just
Thanks very much.
stay there.
Well, I'll keep my cool tie on. And in the meantime, I'll go over to Ariadne, who's got a hand up.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm thinking in the ties with the symbols of Asgardia. I think it's good idea for merchandising. And I want to know why I don't have any reply with my letters. I don't know why. Maybe my mail is lost. I don't know, but I'm waiting for it. Maybe some suggestions. No matter if your contradiction with my ideas is good for me. Only I want to know, reply, Sarah Clark. Thank you very much.
Hey, well, that's everyone told off. You're all in trouble now by not replying to Ariadne. And you should. She's one of the big boss women in this organization. Right.
All right, thank you.
John Pine?
Yeah, I just had this has nothing to do with Asgardia. I was just curious. So, off of your conversation with Sarah, so the British, they still got guys that wear wigs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we don't. Britain
Wow.
doesn't have a legal system. England has a legal system.
Or England
has a legal system.
England. Yeah.
They're all separate. England and Wales have the same one. And yes, it's getting less and less. But in a criminal trial particularly, the barristers wear their gowns, tabs, and wigs. The judge wears his wig and his judicial gown. So yeah, it's all very old-fashioned, formal. I've got no idea what the basis of it is, but yeah, that they still do it. But it does look impressive. But I think it's also supposed to be an equalizer. So every barrister taking part in the case, whether for prosecution or defense, is wearing the same clothes, looks the same, and is taking no advantage. And the way that Lembit mentioned earlier about, he said his shirt was more expensive than mine. Well, nobody could say that with regard to the barristers because they all wear exactly the same gown, same tabs, same wig. So it could be that. But yes, we still do. Solicitors don't, because we're clever enough. We don't need to wear wigs, you see. That's what I'm saying anyway. Right, now then. Somebody's got their hand up and I cannot see who it is.
It's Ida.
Oh, it is, right, yes. Couldn't see your picture. Right, Ida.
Hi, how you doing? Sorry, because I'm in the phone, that's why you don't see the picture. But I think the tiny tire looks better in men's when they go to these places. Even you could see in 2017 when the other guys went to the Vienna, they got the tire. They look nice, gentle. But from now on, I think the better one is the one that is very tiny, not the fat one. I don't know if you remember those.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's my idea. Like the tiny one looks better now in this era. That's my opinion.
All right. We used to call them skinny ties.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I've got some as well, but I've got some that are, because most of my clothing is very old. So,
but you look young. You don't look so old. That's for old times. So try to wear one these days in the meeting so we could see the difference.
Yeah. Okay.
And we tell you.
I'll find a skinny tie. No problem.
All right.
When I married my late wife, she said that she was going to have to replace my suits because she says a lawyer should wear a 3-piece suit. So all of my suits for work are now three-piece suits with a waistcoat.
I remember those.
Yeah, so all of mine are like that. Because she insisted, bless her. I mean, she's gone now, of course, but she insisted that I did that. So I did.
You look cute.
I did what I was told. I was a very obedient husband. And I can say that because she can't contradict me now. Okay, right. Ariadne's got her hand up again.
Yes, well, the origin is a military issues and a discipline. I think the idea of ties is discipline and formal issues about the treatment with the people. And that is the reason, because as a lawyer, it's very correct to use a tie.
Thank you. I try and be correct.
You are.
Doesn't always work, but I try. I tell you, speaking of which, it was strange when I was in the States, because when I went to some places, I didn't go very far, but when I went to some places, they didn't understand what I was saying because of my accent. And I just thought I couldn't understand that because I speak English. They're supposed to speak English. You would think they would understand what I was saying. They didn't know it. I also got a lot of admiration for the accent when I was at the county fair, which is why I went there. I was sitting over lunchtime. It was baking hot, and I was having a sandwich. And there were various people sitting down, around me. And I got hit on by 3 different women who all said they loved my accent. So yes, it does work sometimes. And I wasn't wearing a tie either. So there you go. So I'm prepared to hire out the accent to anyone who wants it.
Maybe it's the tie, but the accent of the England people is so beautiful. I love it, really, because it's clear, it's elegant. I like to hear people from England talking anything what they say. I love it, really. It's my opinion.
Your deputy chair is currently filling in time by speaking rubbish, but in English. So you get plenty of this, because I have to keep talking till Lambert gets back. And he's taking his time. Just changing platforms shouldn't take this long. Never mind.
So you got 3 women now with Ariana is 4.
The strange. I'll let you in on a little private secret. My son decided that I'd been single after losing my lovely wife for too long, and I should be out there mixing with women. They therefore put me on one of these dating websites. And when I went to the States, the telephone picked up the fact that I was in the States. And I started to get approaches from women in Ohio. And I actually am still corresponding, although I didn't meet her, with who lives in Ohio some of the time and in New York State the rest of the time. And she swears she's going to come over and meet me. So, hey, you never know. And I'll keep you advised. I somehow doubt it, but you just don't know. Especially as she's much younger than me. So, because as you all know, I'm now very, very old. Oh,
you're not old. You don't look old. You look like you got 40 years old.
Oh, that's lovely. That's why I love you so much. I'm 70. Sarah's got a tie on now. Looking very elegant.
Just for you, Peter.
Oh, thank you very much indeed.
There you go.
It is not tied well.
That's the tiny one. Go ahead. Oh, the big one.
Nice. Very nice. It's nice to not be alone, Sarah, so I feel that I'm in good company now. But I think we're going to get a song now from John. Fine, he's got his hand up again. John.
Yes. Well, actually, this is more of a question, a serious question. I was wondering, I've been looking at some legal stuff that's been going on in the news as far as space technology and innovation. And current, this is happening here in the United States, but I imagine that other countries are having the same problem. But current regulations and laws um, are having a hard time keeping up with the innovation and technological innovation, and it's creating a bottleneck in issues as far as especially with space and getting that technology up into space and keeping the advancement of the technology that could be that in order to keep nations competitive, they need to keep that innovation going. They need to keep it flying, or flowing. What do you think about that? What do you and it was suggested that the regulation makers and the lawmakers uh, streamline their laws and regulations to catch up to this technological advancement so it would not slow down the innovative process or the competition and all that. In order for these companies to stay in that competitive market and make a lot of money for the nations and what have you, they need that these regulators and these lawmakers need to streamline the process. I was just wondering what your take was on that.
Right. Well, there is a method by which that can be dealt with. We don't really do that in Asgardia yet because we haven't had to, but you can provide for subordinate or delegated legislation so that for the act, it would have to come through the full parliamentary session. But in the wording of the act, if there's an area that is likely to be innovative or to change, you can define that whatever the specification is will be set out by an order to be handed down by the minister or whoever else it's delegated to. So that changes that part of the legislation in a very simple manner. It still has to be approved by Parliament, but they just say, yeah, we've seen it, thanks, that's it. And that changes that bit that would otherwise have had to be redrafted from scratch. So there is a way of doing it. We haven't had to do it yet because we don't really have any implementation in detail of our legislation. But if we did, and it was in an area of innovation, that's what we could do. And that would save having to go right through the 3 readings procedure for any amended legislation. It wouldn't have to be done. It could just be handed down. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious how we would deal with it here in Australia. I honestly don't believe that we'll have as much problem as what other nations are having currently, because we are trying to frame our laws to keep up with innovation. Um, but like here in the United States, there's a lot of old regulations that no longer, in some ways, don't apply, and they're trying to use those regulations to try to regulate space industry or whatever. And for instance, let's say SpaceX right now is having a big battle between the FAA over this issue right now, and the FAA has done fine SpaceX over what, I don't know, around $800,000 over stuff that really they shouldn't have been fined for, but because they actually met the requirements as it would be for today. But it looks like the FAA is going back to old regulations and catching them on stuff that really does not apply. But what you said actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe you can put that into put that into some kind of white paper or some kind of information paper
I'll
and
discuss.
let
We'll put them together.
yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all. Actually, I mean, the thing about the law is it does get left behind sometimes, and there are. I mean, I do a whole after dinner speech on strange laws. For in England, English strange laws. For example, it's a criminal offence for any sport to take place in England on Christmas Day, except archery. And it's actually a compulsory matter. You must practice archery every day, including Christmas Day, according to English laws. That's true. It's also a criminal offence and just simply not permitted for a man to marry or have sexual relations with his grandmother. But it's perfectly legal for a grandmother to have such relations with her grandson. It's just badly drafted legislation from many, many years ago, and it's never been changed. And there are loads of those sort of quirky things. If you can imagine the silliest thing in your head, like if you want to say hello to a person in a certain rank, you have to hop on one leg for 10 minutes. There's no such law, but that's the kind of silliness that you come across in old laws. So law is a funny business because it does get left behind by events, as you've just highlighted, John. But I mean, things change, and it does get very, very much changed. And we still have a lot of old laws based upon gender that say that women can't do A, B, and C, but men can. And you know, and it's just never been caught up with. Even though if you actually try to implement it, that probably would be an offence in itself. So it's highly incongruous, but it's there and it happens. Incidentally, I've just seen from the chairman that he's going to be back in the next 2 minutes, he says.
Peter,
yes.
It is I'm from Ohio, and I can't believe they didn't understand your accent. I'm slightly appalled. But in Ohio, it is against the law to make a fish intoxicated.
Well, of course.
Of course. And you also can't whale fish on Sundays, I don't think. Like fish for whales, not that there's whales in Ohio. But so you can't do that on Sundays either. So we could practice our archery, but not harpoon a whale.
But not whale harpooning. Yeah, there you go. It's the same the world over. It's just incongruous. One of these days, when we have our next live parliamentary session, I'll bring my notes and we'll do the incongruous laws talk, because there are some really, really funny things in there. So we can do that. I've got messages flashing up all the time here. So, which part of Ohio are you from, Sarah?
Upper Arlington. I was born and raised in Upper Arlington. Left for school and never moved back.
Oh, well, there you are. There you are. I had a lovely time. I had a lovely time out because I had the car. My little girl that I went to stay with, who was not my little girl, but she was my school year exchange daughter, and we got far too close way back in 1989. She just provided me with a car when I got there, so there's the keys. Off you go. So I was all over the place. I went to Cleveland by myself. I wish I hadn't bothered, but I did, and went all around the place. It was also up to I can't remember the names of the places. Something on the lake, Geneva on the lake. I don't know whether you know where that is, but that's beautiful. Found a beautiful restaurant as well there. It was really nice. Speaking of beautiful, Lambert's back.
Thank you. I've been having some connection problems, and I'll continue to have them. I'm going to put my off because I have real difficulties at the moment, but you can look at my, well, I've taken the video off, but you can hear the picture. So basically,
not the best
Peter,
line.
what I've covered.
It's not the best line, Lambert, but
it's not the best line.
I gather you've probably got not very much more to say. I mean, we've discussed all sorts of things while you've been away. Things of, I think, what you could probably describe as things of total irrelevance. But we've discussed them very thoroughly.
Never irrelevant. Well, let me just go through the other things. You might not be able to hear me because it's very bad signal.
Can hear you.
Well, it'll get better. It'll get a little bit better, I think. Thank you, Peter, for covering this. And there's going to be noise. If I lose you, I'll call right back again. So basically, the top line, we covered the ALF. The digital sitting will be in October, like I said. That's very important that we have that, but the ALF is the precursor to that. Thirdly, I'll just say these quickly in case I lose you. I can see you very well, Peter, and that's encouraging. You look very nice.
Thank you.
Your tie. My picture looks nice too. Right. So the third one is I'm still waiting to get confirmation, as I said before, I think about the physical sitting. But in addition to that, I'm really hoping that's going to be either June or October next year. Now, I don't know yet. I just don't know yet if there's going to be that meeting or not. I will know in the next couple of weeks because we have to do calculations and the cost and everything else that's going with it. But I'm working on that, and I've made it quite clear. I believe it's essential that we have physical sitting. I think that would be great. The location, we don't know at this point, but I'm pretty sure that wherever it is will be very easy for most people in terms of visas and everything that goes with it. So as far as I'm concerned, I want us to have that physical sitting. Sorry, I want to make sure that we actually do have that physical sitting. I think from a relationship point of view, it would be really valuable if we actually met. And that's something which I learned from the 2018 event, which really made our entire operation work effectively, much more effectively than it would have done if we hadn't had that meeting. Fourth of five things, I'm very excited by some of the work that Cheryl's doing. She's always really hard at work. She's been doing some useful work in the United Nations. More of that directly from her, hopefully at the ALF at the weekend. And the final thing, I'm going to try. I think my signal's improved a bit. I don't have a good background, but I don't want to risk it. The fifth and final thing, as I say, apologies if you've just joined us. I'm coming back from a cancer fundraising event, which is to do with our, rather than with Asgardia, but it was important that I attend that event. The final thing is that if you have the inclination, if you want to, I think at this point, one of the most we can promote is Asgardia's commitment to Declaration of Independence. And we've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. What matters here is that we actually ask nations that we know if they would be willing to recognize Asgardia. We can have bilateral agreements which are good for them and good for us. In other words, it's not a one-way street. Whether it's in the South Pacific, in the north of the hemisphere, wherever that is, I'm asking you now to share with me names of countries you think might be interested, nations that might be interested, that are one of the 193 nations recognized by the United Nations.
Okay. You're breaking up.
Sorry, I think it's very good, but I'll stop my journey until we finish the meeting. Peter, I'm going to let you carry on chairing this, but I'm going to be here.
I don't know what you want me to discuss. We've gone through everything.
Okay, well, if there's any raised hands, because I can't see at the minute, because I'm using the minimum amount of bandwidth possible so that I don't lose the signal.
There's nobody got the hand up.
You know, it's a shame because almost everybody, my signal always gets better from here. Bear with me for 2 minutes. Go on, Peter.
I was just going to say that I can do some Shakespearean quotations if you want, just to enlighten everyone. But you probably won't want that. I could do my karaoke go-to song, but I don't have the backing track handy, so we can't do that.
You do look a little bit like Brian Blessed.
Yeah, well, he is an actor, of course.
Yes. Well, who are you?
But and I'm not. I'm a singer. No, I'm not.
Don't start singing. Wait a minute. I'm just actually the problem I've had with the bandwidth is getting off now.
Good.
Because it always is fine from here. Let me just sit down, and then I can carry on. Hang on a second. 1 minute. Right. I should be able to sustain the picture now. I haven't been able to look at the chat because it's been I'm not going to lie, it's been a very difficult journey. But for a good cause, The question I have is, if you're looking at the chat, if nobody's got their hands raised, then what we'll do, we will meet on Saturday, 1300 UTC. I'll get that finished and I'll send it to Linda, Aliona, shortly. I'll do it now, basically, once we finish this meeting. But it's quite predictable. It's just the pieces of legislation which we're going to be covering at the next digital sitting, and also items that you may want to discuss. Plus, one interesting thing, I'm hoping I'm going to get a speaker from the British Interplanetary Society to give us an informal address. I don't know if I can do that, but that would be just one attractive thing that would happen. Doesn't involve a vote. It's just to share what the BIS stands for. I'm a member of the BIS and where we're headed with that. Let me hand it back to you, Peter, just in case I lose signal. If there's no other business, of course, we can finish.
Well, there's no hands up, so I'm almost tempted to drop into a Shakespearean sonnet for Lembit and ask him, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more cool and temperate," but I don't think I will. Right. Oh, you're crackling. We can't hear you, Lembit. But I think you're more of a...
I think that would...
Yeah.
I would consider your commentary to be sarcastic.
Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why.
Yeah. No idea at all. No idea at all. But that's good. If there's nobody else, then I think Ariadne shared a file in the group chat. I'll have a look at that as soon as we finish, unless Ariadne wants to say what that's about.
Did you want to say anything about it, Ariadne?
What do you say?
You've put a document in the group chat. Do you want to say?
No, it's about the tie.
Oh,
the origin of the tie. Yes. The tie has a military origins. I discovered that, and I put that. It's about this.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
All right.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Look at my tie.
Yeah, well done.
It's beautiful, right?
We've got solidarity now. We also had Sarah before, Lambert, with Donny and I, so that they don't feel alone. So that's three of us.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Sherry with Lambert.
Well, Lambert normally has a tie, in fairness.
I will look to see if it's got a military origin. I'm not very keen. I'm not very happy about military things. If it's got a military origin, I won't wear a tie because Asgardia will never have an army. I will wear a tie. No, I will wear a tie for the formal meetings. But if there's no great bow tie, says Kenneth. Okay. If you've got a tie on, Peter's got a tie on, I know this is a small thing, and viewers around the world may think it's strange, but it's important to me because I think maybe I shall wear the tie for the physical sittings and not for the digital, physical and digital sittings, but not for other events. That's my suggestion. It's not a big thing, but what we decide now will be a big thing for all future events because we are setting precedents, and that's exciting.
It is. It is. All right. Well,
this is a fake tie. This is from the hair.
All right. Well, Kenneth wants to know if a bow tie qualifies.
It does.
Right, there you are. There we are then. Okay. Well, I think, Lambert, we should wind this up because the signal is not good, and nobody's got their hand up.
We'll be together on Saturday anyway, 1300 to 1700.
Well, by virtue of the power vested in me as Deputy Chair of the Parliament of Asgardia, I hand over to Lambert for the closing words, and we'll see you on Saturday. Lambert? And he's gone.
The closing words are, I'll see you on Saturday.
All right.
And with that, we can stop the feed, and thank you.